Welcome to episode 76 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast, the Spoilercast. I'm one of your hosts, Dan McGuinness, and joining me on my midnight meat train of madness, murder, and mayhem is my co-host, Jennifer the Dream Warrior Strand.
Toot toot, motherfucker.
Each fortnight, Jennifer and I set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and we go through it scene by scene and spoil the fuck out of it. That is the Spoilercast. That's what it is.
That's by nature, by name.
Don't even bother watching it after this, because you would have fucking seen it. Anyhow, it's a deep dive into glorious gore, hard edits, cheesy acting, directing madness, severed wangs, and compound fractures. Together, we are two people who fucking love horror and feel the burn of our obsolete fucking video shop cards that are in our fucking pockets, cunts. I'd just like to thank all the listeners who support us over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and the YouTube, and all the other ones. We Heart the Radio, whatever it's fucking called.
I Heart Radio. There's so many. I was looking at our analytics. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, there's like one in some like tiny like island off the coast of fucking Uganda.
Yeah.
Or something. There's like one dude just sitting on his like...
to you.
Yeah, sitting on his like crystal radio set listening to us somehow. We'd like to shout out to all the people who interact with us and help us grow throughout history and shit. People like Dion Cracknell, Bryn Phillips, Adam Gillespie, Kevin Patterson, Tassie Devil, Mark of the Damned, and Ringo Starlin. We love you guys. Thanks for always basically just chatter bantering with us over on the socials, and we love it. And if you want to have your name called out, fucking get on there. Type the word just dick 1,000 times.
It's true. Also, I do like to apologize because anytime anyone messages me or like makes a comment about something that we've said in the podcast, I have immediately forgotten what we've talked about and when. So just elaborate when you're, and then I'll be like, oh yeah.
Quotation marks in there. Remember when you said, quote, Dan McGuinness's dick is wicked cool, unquote.
Timestamp that one.
Timestamp that shit. And we got a rating system, so you're not left with your dicks in your hands.
It's true. So,
both your dicks.
Both of them. Mine too. So for those of you playing at home, we have A is awesome, everybody should watch. B is our beer and chicken wing grimp movie. F is fun and dumb. C is a classic that's worth a watch. U is underrated. O, an overrated motherfucker. G, good for its time, but has not held up. We've got the J, Jan special, the D, Dan special. We've got a W, whatever. Pfft. Kesha, low budget hot mess. C minus, craft is stellar, but I hate the content. And finally, the McConaughey, the fucking fucked. Though we watched it, you really don't have to.
Oh, and this week, you have to watch this. We watched The Blob from 1988, and Jen had not seen it.
I hadn't, but then I was like watching certain bits and I'm like, I've seen this.
It would have been clipped and shit from everything.
It was just something. Anyway, it is directed by Chuck Russell, who also did A Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
The fucking...
The best one.
The Grail one.
Yep, the Grail one. It stars Shawnee Smith and a very young Kevin Dillon, who is apparently some dude that people know.
Who's Shawnee Smith?
Shawnee Smith. She was in Saw. She's in the Saw franchise, but most people know her from Becca. She was like the ditzy, cute. She also has a really cool band, which I have forgotten the name.
Ooh,
yes.
That's nice.
Budget for this film was 19 million, in which 9 million of that went straight to visual effects. And as we will talk more about the visual effects, I will get excited because it does exactly what I love. Box office was 8.2, which is a failure.
That's a fail, but it's culted itself up. It's put on its cult jacket and its cult pants, which are double denim. And it's fucking said, here I am, look at me.
Yeah, exactly. And we love it today. Scream now while there's still room to breathe. Terror has no shape.
It's a long tagline.
And I love it. Remake of the 1958 horror sci-fi about a deadly blob, which is the spawn of a secret government germ warfare project which consumes everyone in its path. Teenagers try in vain to warn the townsfolk who refuse to take them seriously, while government agents try to cover up the evidence and confine the creature.
That is the whole film.
That is the whole film.
I just would have said, a fucking blob comes down and shit gets cunted up.
I'd also like to point out that we are a not safe for work podcast.
Oh, don't worry. That's always, we're explicit as shit.
Oh, yes.
Anyhow, the film, it opens with like blackness and blue titles that look a lot like The Thing.
It has
so
a very
you got
thin
what it is. It's like they're
vibe to
black titles on a black screen, but they're got glowing blue around the outside of them. And it's got this, and the titles don't really match. They're like sci-fi titles.
Yeah,
This could be considered a horror site. This could be a sci-fi, but there's enough horror in it.
Oh.
And it's very horror.
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 So we get like this POV shot of space, and then it's like into Earth, and then it's a small town in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Shops are closed. It seems very sort of abandoned and barren. It's got a very eerie, spooky soundtrack.
Yeah, it's got one of those like minimalistic soundtracks that makes you think. And I just read in my notes, is everyone dead?
Yes.
Already? And that's what you're really supposed to think. You're supposed to like, it's abandoned.
Yep.
Shit's gone down. This is a scary town. Oh, hang on. No.
Everyone's at the football game.
At the local football game. And at church. And yeah, so it's one of those towns where on Sunday? Whatever day they play
I think it's just like a standard high school football
Friday
game.
night. That's it. Yeah. Friday night lights.
But everyone's there because it's football.
That's all there is to do.
Yeah.
So so it abandons the town, and then we're introduced to. I just called these dudes the Dude Bros because I couldn't get their name.
That's fair.
And I got Dude Bro 1 and Dude Bro 2. There's dudes. They're playing footy, and they're like hanging out, and they're talking about. They're looking at Shawnee. What's her name? Meg.
Shut up, Meg.
She's she's the cheerleader. And they're like, dude, bro. Yeah, dude, bro. Yeah, I'm going to bro that dude, bro, lady. That fucking cheerleader and shit. And they're like, oh, bro.
He does. But he does it in a very suave way. He's decided he's going to ask her out. And what he does is he, like, makes a play. He gets tackled the fuck over, like, the Gatorade table.
Yeah.
Right down at her feet. And then
But he makes the pass.
Of course he does. Because this is football.
He's dude, bro.
He's dude, bro. And he looks up at Shawnee, who's like looking over him, and he's like, hey, Meg, got any plans for this evening? I'm like,
yo.
That's smooth.
Anyhow, end of scene. We cut to Richard Marx from Hazard. You remember that guy? From the Hazard film clip. Just imagine Richard Marx in a leather jacket.
Oh, yes. Now, before I actually found out what his name was, I referred to him as Bad Boy Mullet McLeatherjacket.
Oh, really? I just called him Bad Boy Leather Jacket, which is weird because, like, and he just changed into Bad Boy. His name's Brian, and I called him Badass Brian from then on.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. He's smoking a cigarette.
He's out in the bush.
He's got a mullet.
He's away from all the action. He's nothing to do with football. No. He's like, fuck football.
Yeah, he's broody.
Yeah, he's smoking a ciggy.
He's doing
He's young. Stuff. He's got a black curly mullet. He's on it.
It's not as good as Billy Ray Cyrus, but it's still up there.
That's because Billy Ray Cyrus's mullet was, I'm pretty sure it was straightened.
Probably. It was glorious.
It might have even been just like Jay and Silent Bob's mullet, just like in his hat.
Yeah.
Anyhow, he's got a motorbike and he's decided he's going to fucking jump the old rickety bridge, which is out.
Yeah.
Because he's a bad boy. He's just doing it for kicks, for thrills.
He's got no audience, though, so he could just say
he's not doing it for everyone else. He's doing it for himself.
That's what bad boys do.
That's what heroes do.
Yeah.
Anyhow, there's a hobo there.
Yeah, just randomly a hobo
collecting
there.
cans. He's got a dog. He's a stereotypical fucking cookie cutter hobo.
He is. He's the redneck.
He's the town hobo.
Yeah.
The one hobo they've got. He's there. That
Yeah.
He's there. Oh, I'm gonna watch this. This is fucking
He's
wicked.
watching from the bushes with his dog. Brian. He
badass Brian.
He revs his bike. He's like gearing up, and he makes a go for it, but he's a fucking chump. And
his bike fucks up.
Does it? I feel that he's just a little bitch.
No, his bike goes ba-doo, 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 and he looks down. Oh no, my bike's not fast enough to make the jump.
and he fucking bails out.
He drops the bike. He falls off the bridge. It's not a very high bridge.
It's not.
It's like a couple of meters, and he falls.
I could probably, me, the most unfit person in the world, could probably just do a small jog and jump it.
Yeah, but. And he falls down in the dirt. The hobo's impressed.
Gives him a little clap.
Yeah, he's not hurt. It's fine. Anyhow, that's the end of that scene. We cut to the local diner where we meet cop and waitress. Cop Herb. I fucking love a cop named Herb.
I just like the name Herb.
Yeah, is it Herbert?
Yeah.
Like Sherbert? Like who names their person? Who looks at a baby and goes, Herbert?
Oh, he looks like a Herbert.
Herbert.
Hey, Herbert.
Next year I'm going to have a son named Herbert.
Please. Don't tell Claire.
And waitress she's not, she's like an elderly waitress. She owns the diner.
Yep.
Herb, you know, he kind of likes her. He kind of asks her out on a date. She's like, oh, I'm fucking too busy. He's like,
all of the footballers are going to be in here in a minute, and they're all going to want food.
Yeah. He swallows sadness.
He does.
But as he checks his check on the way out, she's got written on there, I finish up at 11. So she kind of like, and these are adorable characters.
Everybody in this town is a smooth operator.
It's good.
Everybody in this town just be fucking all the time.
Their population rate must be through the roof with all the banging they're doing.
Well, that's why there were so many people at the football game.
That is true. And if there's anything that happens in football games, is drinking and making babies afterwards.
That sounds about right, as is my understanding of football. Anyway, bad boy mullet McLeatherjacket, bad boy Brian. He's hitched a ride back to town. The cops stop him and they harass him just for being a delinquent.
Yeah, because Herb, he's like, Brian, next year, you're over age, no more juvie hole for you. And he's like, shut up, Brian. I mean, shut up, Herb. Yeah, that's about it.
That's as far as that goes. So he heads into the local garage.
Where he knows the bloke.
Yes.
Did you notice this bloke? He's in it for this scene, and then he's popped up at the end and says one line and leaves again.
Well, this is because this is a very quintessential moment, if you kind of realise.
This is where all the bits of pre-shadow everything that's about to happen.
Yeah. We're not going to tell you because...
They'll fucking ruin it.
And
we need to ruin it in order.
Yeah. So he's like, oh, just give me a little hand. Like, I just need to borrow some tools. My bike's broken. I was going to jump the gorge, but I bailed out and I need to fix my bike. So he kind of cons the guy into like lending him some tools so he can go out and fix his bike.
And that's done.
That's it. He gets his tools. He pisses off.
And now it's night time.
Yep.
We cut to Hobo. Hobo and Dog.
Yep.
They're hoboing. That's got a hobo.
That's a nice name for a short, like, kid's story. Hobo and Dog.
Oh. Hobo and Dog are stereotypically hanging outside of a 44-gallon drum on fire.
Yes, as you do.
In the wilderness, and a fucking meteor flies over, like, looks pretty good.
It does.
Looks good. It goes down and then flies into the trees and explodes with a practical effects explosion, not like a green screened one, which is gross. But there's plenty of gross green screening later.
It's true.
And Hobo looks and he goes, oh, shit. And that's the end of that scene. So we now know there is a meteor involved.
Yep. And we know that the old man...
Or a spaceship. We don't know what it is.
No, not yet. But we know that the old man has seen it. He's probably going to go check it out.
Now we cut to the dude bros.
Oh.
They're getting ready for their date. They have to pick up some frangers. At the local chemist. Frangers. Some fucking meat coverers. I don't know any other names for condoms, do you?
No.
Some fucking...
Why would I?
Some whirly gigs. Just made that one up.
I love it. That's what they're called now. Get on it, millennials.
And then there's this, like, really intricate joke where, like, you know... I don't know, like one of the dude bros goes up to buy frangers because he's the cocksure one. He's not the dude who asked the girl out on the date, Shawnee out.
He's got his own date.
He's got his own date, and he goes up to the chemist man, and he's like, I need to buy some big fucking rib condoms and shit because I got this naive fucking idiot bitch that I'm gonna bang.
Yeah. So he's like he's up there cocksure, and he's like, I'm gonna buy these condoms. I'm like a big man about it. And then the reverend of the town,
priest walks in.
He rocks up, and he's like, oh hey
he goes,
there.
Oh fuck, shit.
He's like, I'm buying these for my friend. He's really irresponsible. He's got this date with this girl. He's pretty sure of what's gonna happen. I'm like, mate, if you gotta wrap it before you tap it. So I'm just here buying them for him, so he's not irresponsible.
Yeah, he passes the bar, even though it's not for that guy.
No,
it's not for a fucking dude bro, main character dude bro. Anyhow, big long scene. It's not that funny. Comes up later.
It does.
Anyhow, back to the hobo, which is the most important part of the film. Hobo's got a stick now. He's upgraded from just armless
from an axe to a stick.
Yeah, he had an axe, didn't he? He pokes out the meteor's split open. We can see a bubble and ooze in there. It's all pink. It's that hot pink that everyone's fucking all over at the moment. The Stranger Things pink.
Yes.
So this film had the pink.
Yeah, this was neon fancy before neon fancies are fancy.
The pink and the stink.
Yeah.
We can only assume the blob smells.
Probably.
He gets a bit of this blob substance on the end of the stick, but then all of a sudden, wham! The fucking blob runs down the stick and grabs him on the hand, and that's all we see. He yells. The dog barks and kind of runs away. Cutscene. Yeah. So we know now there is a blob on a hobo.
Blob on a hobo, name of our band.
Yeah, name of my sex tape. Then we we cut to young Kevin,
Yep.
who this kid is like, he is the brother of Meg.
Yes. And he's got his super obnoxious mate with him.
Eddie? Freddie?
I don't know.
Yeah, so he's got a, it's a young 80s kid with a cocksure friend. You know those ones that are like, they call your mum by the first name.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's wearing a Walkman.
Yeah. Sure.
And shit, he's like the wacky mate who's like, dude that probably gets beaten at home.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, 100%. He's the kind of kid that your mum's like, I don't want you hanging out with that boy.
Anyhow, they're going to go to a movie later on, a horror movie. There's a whole scene. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Meg's getting ready for a date. Dude bro Paul, he arrives for the date and she's like, oh, I just want to introduce you to my dad. He walks in, hand out, ready to meet him.
The newspaper. He's reading a newspaper like an old 1950s dad.
Yeah.
The newspaper comes down.
It's the chemist.
It's the chemist guy from The Joke. And, of course, earlier on, the guy, we've got to mention, he asked for ribbed condoms, and all the chemist dude looks at the dude and just goes, ribbed. Which is an old joke that used to be on a, I'm pretty sure that was a fucking ad that we had, like, in the 90s. It was an ad which did that exact joke.
Oh.
On
television.
television.
I don't know. I don't
That joke's been
remember.
done a lot before. Like,
Yeah.
that her
actually
dad's
just-
the pharmacist.
We lost this actor just recently as well. I can't remember what his name is. But
He kind of looks like an Al Bundy.
He does. He does
he's
have
the
that.
guy I always think it's like that. I don't know what that guy's actor's name
Ed
is. either.
O'Neill.
And now we cut to the badass Brian. He's fixing his bike at night in
Yep.
the woods. Don't bother doing it in the morning.
No, but there's also no flashlight, no nothing.
Yeah, I know.
He's just doing it in the dark.
That's what I mean. I laughed at
By
that.
the
What are you-
light of the moon.
What are you doing, dude? Just wait.
Yeah.
You don't need your bike.
But that's okay because he hears some noises and decides to turn on the...
And this town is
Their
so small
headlight.
that he just walked there.
Yeah.
They walk everywhere. Like, the town's like a main road and that's it.
Yeah. Couple of houses.
And then the hobo rocks out with the fucking oh fuck, there's a fucking shit on my hand.
He's trying to cut off his arm with his axe.
He gets his axe and
It's
hits
not
his
happening.
wrist, which this is really cool. 'Cause this
Yeah.
this is the start of the attention to detail in this film. The hobo chops his wrist with the axe, like, because it's got the blob. The blob's just on his hand, so he's just got a round blob hand. He hits. It doesn't go all the way through. It goes halfway through, and then you actually see the blob move up his wrist and cover the wound to get to the blood easier. They didn't have to do that.
No.
There's heaps of little things like that in this film, which is wicked. So you're like, oh man, it's gross. No, I saw the blob moving into the car. Nice. And there's a whole bunch of these little, like, nice little fucking...
Yeah, little subtle attention to detail is what we love the most. So he goes running off into the woods, and badass Brian, he's following in pursuit behind him to just try and make sure he's okay, because I kind of get the sense that bad boy Brian ain't as bad boy as he likes to think he is.
No.
No, I think he's just a little bit of a sweetheart. So we cut to Meg and Paul. They're in the car. They're having this just a bit of a joke about the poor first impression he made on her dad.
Yeah.
Just as he hits the old man who's run out into the middle of the road.
Yeah, and so, you know, they go, oh, fuck, we hit someone. They get out, fucking badass Brian's there. They were like, fuck, we got to take him to a hospital. Dude bro gets all in Brian's face going, you have to fucking come with us. And they go to the hospital. I'm moving us along quicker now.
That is fair. Yeah.
So they get to the hospital, they admit him in, there's like this scene of a nurse who's like, doesn't give a shit, and like, fucking badass Brian is like, fucking typical. Fucking adults. And shit like that.
Hospitals. He bails out while they're left on their first date, filling out a lot of paperwork for a guy that they don't even know.
And dude bro decides he's going to go to drink. He goes in and he sees Hobo in a room from a distance, and he looks kind of weird. He's all trembling.
Yep.
He goes in there, he pulls the rugs off, and oh my god, Hobo has melted.
He's all bubbly and lumpy.
And like, so he's melted from the chest down into a bloody mess of fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. It's like foamy and just gooey and bloody and bleh. I love it.
So that's wicked. First, so we're like, oh yeah, this is going to be sick. And this could have been, you know, a shitty horror movie. This would have been like, that's it.
Yep.
That's our one shot that we get. And
Yep.
like, we've had a couple of movies in the past where it's just like one great shot. This movie just keeps fucking delivering the great shots.
It's true. Again and again. Paul, he runs out. He runs into a doctor's office. He calls for the sheriff. The door closes behind him, and we see the blob down the wall. It crawls up the wall, and then eventually blobs down on top of
And the blob looks wicked. And I tried to look up how they did all this shit. There is like 10 docos on YouTube of like the effects of the blob, and none of them have actually how they did it. They're just people fucking talking.
Yeah.
Or actors talking, or just a YouTuber theorizing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I want an actual making. Like, because the effects were done by, there's that guy. Oh, it's lost me now. There's one where like it actually has a special effects dude talking about the effects, but he never says how they did them. I'm like, fucking hell. Anyhow, the blob is big now. It's about the size of a human.
Yes, it has, because it has engulfed Paul entirely. And Meg runs in. And she's trying to help him. He's got his arms stretched out. It's coming over his face. It's just sort of like this plastic over his face now.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you put a stocking over your face.
Yeah, and it pulls up your nose and you look weird. It's all, but it's inside of this like pink clear blob pulling his face, but he's like,
yeah, he's screaming.
And you can see he's melting, and it keeps cutting to different shots, and there's more progression of him. You can see there's one of them where you can see his eyes and his mouth, or blood starts pissing out of it under this gel. It's fucking sick.
It's fantastic. She tries to pull him out, but he's
got one arm out still.
Like, at the blob, just kind of rips off, and it just tears, and she falls backwards
and gets knocked out
and knocks herself out.
Because of course, like, it's so easy to knock yourself out. Anyhow, we cut to the aftermath. The cops are all at the
cops
scene.
Are there.
Ambulances, fire trucks.
Meg's parents, they're walking her out. They don't believe her.
This is what's funny. No one believes the kids in the story, but how do they explain that people are melted?
Yeah, you just...
Oh, and then they're like, it's that badass Brian. He did this. And I'm like, how did he do that?
Yeah, nah.
How did he reduce people to flubber?
I'd just be like, too much hobo chili is what happened to the hobo.
Oh, shit.
Blew out his intestines. Meg's hysterical. Paul's missing.
Herb's there.
He does. He comes out and he's swinging his authoritative dick around like it's no tomorrow. And I love it.
And they bring bad boy Brian in as a suspect. So they've already got him. He's in the back of a cop car, arrested with his fucking pirate shirt on. Have you noticed that weird shirt?
He's like wearing the puffy shirt from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I like with this as well is because the deputy cop is one of the guys from RoboCop.
Yeah.
And he makes a comment throughout the film about Paul being the melting guy, which I love because in RoboCop, he was the guy that melted.
Yeah, that was one of the greatest moments in RoboCop when they hit him in the car and he goes all over the windscreen. Yeah, you don't see it.
No.
Where I would have done that extra shot of that a dummy filled with fucking water balloons.
Yeah, just something.
And yeah, they bring him in. Then we cut to the other dude bro now. The other guy. Remember the guy that lied and got the other dude bro into trouble? He's out on his date. He's is at the makeout spot in his car.
Yeah, they're necking in the car. And old Scott and Vicky.
Oh, do you knew her name?
Yeah. He's playing the old 20 no's and a yes is a yes while he plows her with alcohol. So he's a bit of a dickhead.
He's got a boot full of rape items.
He does.
Basically, he's got a boot full of like items to help him score. Like he's got a little bar in there. He goes to you're my girl, you got my necklace. He's got a whole tub of necklaces with rings on them and shit. Like, so he's obviously does this. He's just running her through the lines. He's plying her out with alcohol. He's basically raping her these days.
Yeah.
That's what,
He's just a piece of shit. But we get another POV shot of the blob sludging its way towards the car while he's in the boot mixing alcohol. Now, she's already said no, like, I don't want any more to drink. She's kind of almost unconscious at this point as well. So that's pretty nasty.
And so we see the blob kind of get in the car, nothing about it. He gets back in the car with his drinks. The girl's passed out. And so what does he do? He goes for the rape grope.
He does. He unbuttons her blouse. He grabs a titty. But this is perfect because as he puts his hand in to reach for some sweet boob action, the blob gets him.
Well, I think the blob her boob just turns to mush.
Yeah, I like that.
And then, like, her face just kind of implodes. Like,
it does. It kind of just sucks in on itself. It's
sucks
so good.
in, and then out of all her orifices come blob kind of tentacles. And then grab the dude. And this is like, I'm like, once again, straight away. Yeah. Every moment the blob is in a scene, you just get the best fucking scene.
It's true. And she just looks like an empty skin bag at this point as well. Like, her eyes are all hollowed out. It just looks like you could just pick her up and, like, chuck her in your cupboard.
She looks like those hog snouts from, like, Ren and Stimpy. Those, like, faces.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if they're called hogs or hog bites, hog chows, whatever they're called. And that's done.
Yep.
Once again, it looks great.
It does.
Fun. We cut to Meg's family. They think Brian did it.
Yeah, of
Once
course.
again. But you know Brian, the guy that can make people melt?
Oh, that fucking melt boy
We don't
Brian.
know what those delinquents can do these days.
No.
Teens, they make people...
He's probably smoking the dope.
He's smoking the dope and he's in league with the Satan, and therefore a mixture of the devil's lettuce and the devil makes people melt. You know that.
I want to watch that film.
Devil's
yes, please.
lettuce?
Yes.
That's just what it's called.
Yep.
Every time people smoke weed, they make another person juxtaposed
They make
next
a
to
pact with
melt.
the devil, and then it's
They have
all a
all-
cult.
They have all the weed they want, but every time they smoke it, someone melts.
Yeah, oh, I like this. All
Done.
right, I'm going to make films now, guys. It's going to be terrible. Meg hears her parents arguing about whatever. Mum comes and checks on her, gives her a bit of a sleeping pill. You know, you just got to calm down. You'll feel better after a good night's sleep. Classic Nightmare on Elm Street right there.
Yeah, yeah.
You just got to sleep.
Well, it's true. It's a kind of actual real good advice.
It's true.
But she doesn't take the pill. She puts it in her mouth, puts it on her desk.
She
Anyhow,
spits it out and climbs out the window.
we catch the blob. It's cruising through
Yeah.
the fields. It goes into. We see it go blob into. However the fuck they do this shit, I have no idea. It blobs into a drain, and we see on the the lookout. We see it's heading towards town.
Oh, no.
It's on a beeline to eat more fucking dicks.
Then we get this kind of really very useless scene at the cop station. So Herb's sort of interrogating bad boy Brian, and it just kind of keeps going on and on and on. And then inevitably he's just like, just let him go.
Yeah, well, he's just like, because the deputy's just a dickhead who hates Brian.
He is.
But then, like, Herb's just like, because they've already shown that they've got a bit of repertoire between them kind of thing. He's just like, he talks to the deputy. He goes, look, it just doesn't really make sense. I mean...
He's a delinquent, but he's not a murderer.
He's not a murderer, and, like, there's no blood on him. He wasn't there. How does he make people melt?
It just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of feel that they have, like, this little rapport between them.
The father and son
yeah,
vibe.
it's like, you know.
He's in and out of the clink so often.
Yeah, it's
Then they let him go. Anyhow, Brian's just now cruising now. He's out in the streets. He's a free man, and Meg catches up with him, and he's like, oh, you want to fucking talk to me now? Now you wouldn't even fucking speak to me in school. Now fuck off. Yeah, he's dark at her because she's a lady.
Yep. He heads over to the diner, and where he is very generously made a sandwich by the waitress, and Meg sits down with him and tries to convince him that the thing on the man's hand killed him, and it's killed Paul, and it's getting bigger.
I like his line is, all I saw was an old guy with a funky hand. I like that line. And
she starts like yelling at him, and then he immediately like backs down. He's like, look, I'm really sorry, okay? Like,
because he's a nice guy deep down.
He is a nice guy, and he's like, here, share my sandwich.
Yeah, he's got a prickly exterior, but a heart of gold, a heart of mush.
Yep, it's
And
exactly
the
right.
cop, we cut to the cops. They're searching for whoever did it. That's it, really.
They're searching the woods.
They're searching around. We've got a team of dudes out with torches looking for murderers or some shit.
Yeah, they're all out.
Looking for blobs.
I think the sheriff starts pulling the cops from the search. They're like, it's useless, guys. Just go home. It's fine. While this is happening, the waitress, she heads into the kitchen, and she notices that the drain is clogged.
And we've got a kitchen hand out there. Mm-hmm. And he's a guy cooking. She's just like, the fucking drink's fucked up. Can you fix it? And he goes, I'll fix it.
Yeah, he's standing there, he's plunging it, and he's going hard on this drain, which is great. I love a drain unclog.
Yeah, it's like, it's all gross and that. He's got the scary scene where he like sticks his hand down the drain and he brings it back out and there's some like fucking jizz on his hand. And I'm like, well, he's like, oh my God, what is this weird slime? I'm like, you're putting your hand down a kitchen sink drain. There's going to be gross shit. It's not weird to pull your hand out of a drain in a kitchen and go, oh, there's gross shit in there.
Huh.
I thought there was going to be rubies.
Yeah, I was really banking on them rubies, actually.
Yeah,
okay, oatmeal it is. It's fine.
Anyhow, he's looking, it starts to bubble. He looks into the drain and then we get I think this is my second favorite kill in the film.
Yep.
The blob fucking flings out of this thing and grabs his face.
Yep.
It's kind of like a...
It looks like one of those hands, the elastic hands.
Sticky hand?
Yeah, that you like stick on and then kind of just pull off and it just...
Yeah, so it comes out, it grabs his face and then pulls him down into the thing. And we see his whole head. And this thing's only like, 2 mil round.
Yeah.
Diameter? Radius? Doesn't matter. It's a sink.
It's a circle.
We see a full head get crushed down small into a sink.
Yep.
We hear like a yell, the fucking, well, I don't know what the waitress and Meg and fucking Brian run in and they see, we see like,
he immediately like flips upside down as well. It basically just pulls him up. So it doesn't even look like he's tried to sort of jump. This looks really well done.
The blob is brutally strong, which is what I like.
And it's bringing him into this drain. So, and I'm just like casually laughing at this because
it's wicked.
It's trying to pull him into the drain and all you see is them running in and his legs kind of just
his legs
sticking
and arms.
out.
So he's been crunched.
Like, blood's going everywhere and you get
and
this
I was
little,
like, oh,
Nike
they're just going to
sneaker.
show it go down. But no, they keep going. They show the pipe underneath the sink getting like the metal expanding as in like it's getting too much put in there. And then for some added effect, you see rivets popping out and blood coming out of it. They didn't have to do any of that shit.
They didn't, but they did because they're fantastic.
And then and then we kind of see like we see the shot of the sink, we see the last bits get pulled in there. And then I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like this calm. It's like,
what the fuck?
Wait, I'm lost of where I am. And then it kind of just explodes up out of the sink, the blob, and onto the ceiling.
Yeah.
Because it ignores gravity.
It's the blob.
It's so strong that it like ignores gravity. And it goes up onto the ceiling and fucking...
So the
waitress runs one way.
So my head went that way, my legs went that way.
Yeah.
So the waitress runs in one direction. She actually just fucking bails it out of a glass window and heads straight for the payphone while Meg and Brian head down towards the walk-in freezer to seek refuge. And this is where I love this scene because we get this very 1960s Batman and Robin running scene.
Yeah, so they're great. They're obviously running on a treadmill.
They're on a treadmill and they're doing the best run, and you can just see this terribly sort of green screen blob chasing them along the roof, which
it still looks fine.
Loved.
Oh, you loved it?
I loved it. Well, I like 60s Batman.
Well, they run into the freezer, which is the worst actual not freezer. Did you notice that it just like it's supposed to be those like freezer rooms?
Yes.
Where everything's cold and like ice all over it, but it just is a room with white paint on everything.
Yeah.
And it was just splickled on there. Like they didn't really try real hard.
Look,
there's no dry ice. There's no nothing. It doesn't matter. It's fine. I thought that's kind of shit, but I'm down with that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I prefer them to spend the effects on the kills and the ice room.
Exactly.
And the blob comes under the door with its blobbiness. Mm-hmm. That's what I like about this film as well. The blob just seeps into everything.
Yeah.
And it hits the ice and it's like... And it withdraws back. It doesn't like ice. Actually, ice turns it into rubies.
It really does, doesn't it? So we leave a little bit of the blob behind.
Pink diamonds.
It blobs off.
Turns into pink diamonds. Every girl's fucking dream. And then like, he's got a hook for some reason. That makes no fucking sense because it's a blob.
Where did he get the hook from?
It was
What's he going to do?
It's a meat locker. Diners
have meat lockers.
Diners that have whole
they've got like that fucking cow out back.
Yeah, just cutting bits off for the steak of the day. Anyway.
So the waitress, she makes a break. Fran, she's a delight. She's actually in...
I liked all the characters in this film.
Yeah, everyone's so endearing. I like them all. Except for Brian and his mullet. I just hate his face. So she jumps into this payphone and she's calling the sheriff's office. So she's frantically trying to get hold of Herb. She gets through, but unfortunately, Herb's gone. The phone's ringing off the hook.
Because the waitress goes, and then all of a sudden we see the blob is, while this is all happening, unsuspecting to her, the blob is slowly oozing down over the
whole thing.
Over the thing. So now it's covered the whole phone booth. And as she gets onto the police station, she goes like, the lady on the end of the phone goes, I thought Herb was going to the diner. And then we see Herb's corpse in the blob just
float past.
Like, it's fucking wicked.
This looks so good.
And this is like one of our things we always say. The more goo on shit makes it look good in horror movies. And the whole thing is just goo.
Yeah.
So everything looks great in this film because you can't see that might look... If that was out the goo, it might have looked shit.
Yeah.
I have no idea how they did this scene. So now like So Herb's dead. Yeah. Fuck. I was kind of disappointed. I was like, I liked her.
Yeah. Well, like he had a future with the waitress.
It indiscriminately kills the blob. That's why it's terrifying. It doesn't have an agenda.
It doesn't. It's just
got nowhere to go or be.
Nah, it's just hanging out.
Doesn't have to pick the kids up from school. Doesn't have to do anything. So we see this blob. It's covering the phone booth. We see it kind of like the glass starting to fracture and crack. And then we get one of the most aggressive kills I've ever seen. So the shot is from the top of the phone booth, and we see the phone booth burst inwards, onto a dummy, obviously, so aggressively that I've don't know how did they do it in a vacuum?
I think there was something to do with that. I was reading something.
So I wanted to find how they did this.
I will find out.
This
looked good.
This is every use of the idea of a blob that you could think of. It's so good.
Yes. And poor Fran, she's gone.
Done.
Death in a phone box.
Blob doesn't care. She had a date at 11. It ate the date.
Well, they're together now.
It's a date eater. It's an arse eater.
They're in the gelatinous cube. It's fine.
Yeah.
So Brian and Meg head out of the walk-in freezer towards the kitchen. That's all that's happening there. And then the Reverend kind of heading towards... Yeah, we cut to the Reverend.
He sees the blob going down a drain.
Yep.
He goes into... He goes into the diner, sees it all trashed. He walks in. He sees some crystallized pink diamond blobs on the ground. He's like, ooh, pink diamonds.
Oh, I like a pink diamond.
He puts one into a very conveniently placed jar, and that's the end of the scene. So Reverend has a bit of a blob in a jar. Why not?
He does. Why wouldn't you?
We cut back to the police station. Meg and Brian, they get a tip of where to go next.
Yeah.
That's all that scene.
The phones are going crazy. No one's able to reach the sheriff. No one's able to reach the deputy. But they hear that there was they head out to where the old man was first attacked by the blob.
Okay, so they drive out to the woods looking for Chief Herb. We all know he's dead. Suddenly the forest lights up, E.T. style, UFOs in the sky. I'm like, oh my God, there's a UFO now. But no, it's the government.
Oh, I would have liked a UFO.
Government chopper.
Yes.
So we get the scientists that are from E.T.
Yes, it's a biological containment team.
They come and we're here to help you. And I'm like, okay, cool.
And then we get this really cool, scientist jargon. He's like, the meteor that came to Earth that killed the dinosaurs. Why do you think they died so quickly? And he's just basically like, it's that the government just tells them everything. Yeah. Straight away. So the head scientist, I just called him head scientist. He just tells him, this is like an alien, right? It's come down on a meteor. It's come, blah, blah. It killed off the dinosaur. And I'm like, why are you telling these kids this? Yeah. Do they have credentials? Have you seen their credentials? Why are you giving them information?
So I think we've seen too many films these days. Yeah. Anyhow, so now
we cut to a couple.
Some random campers.
Making out by a fire.
At Crystal Lake.
Yep. It's great.
And then instantly I was like, oh, it's a movie.
Yeah. So it's the two boys. They're in the cinema. They've snuck in to watch this horror film that he was specifically told not to go see because it would give him nightmares, but he's watching it. It's fine. The projectionist noticed that the AC has gone out, and he calls for assistance.
Projectionist.
Yep.
Call out to Adam Gillespie. Shout out. He's a projectionist.
He's a projectionist.
Yep.
Oh, Adam.
He has a comic called Help, I'm a Projectionist that he sells at our shop. It's all projectionist jokes.
Oh. I want to pick that up. I'm going to pick that up. Anyway, he sticks his head in the vent. And we get another really cool POV shot of the blob, blobbing towards him.
Because blobs love hanging out in
air vents at the cinema.
He's done.
So
it was the blob ruining the air conditioner.
Fucking hell.
It was the blob all along. And now the man comes in,
the manager.
The usher.
Yep.
He comes into the room. He's like, where the fuck are you? He looks up and, of course, the fucking projectionist is stuck to the ceiling.
And this looks amazing as well. This is where we start to see a more sort of decayed, distorted, rotted away kind of guy festering from the blob.
And this is a full puppet kind of... There's not an actual man in this scene. Yep. It's either animatronic or a puppet. His face is getting stretched out. There's blob. The blob does a bit of tentacleism as well.
Yeah,
he's got a bit of that happening. And then does it kill that guy as well?
I don't remember.
I can't think there's cuts.
I just got really excited by how good this looked. So he might have died. He didn't die. It has nothing to do with the storyline. I
think that it just cuts, and then it cuts back to Brian and Meg.
Yeah, being loaded into a van to head back to town, which is being quarantined.
Yeah, so now the scientists get all fucking in their face. And no, you have to be quarantined. We have to quarantine the town, blah, 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 blah. They force him into the into the... This is like weird. They force him into the back of a car.
Yeah.
And then Brian just like opens the back and jumps out.
Yeah, just jumps out.
He bails.
Leaves Meg behind.
He plans to bail on his bike. He's like, let's just fucking go. He's like, we can't leave our friends and family.
Well, yeah, because if you don't forget, like, Brian's got his bike still stashed in the woods close by.
Yeah.
It's almost fixed,
He's
but
got
it's not quite.
He's got an agenda.
He does. He does have an agenda.
And the whole town, we cut to the town. It's all been, they've been herded up. Like, come on, quarantine, motherfucker.
We're all going to quarantine together in City Hall. Together.
You should mention how cool the scientist quarantine suits look as well. They got like a glass helmet and it's all lit up from the inside. It just look great. I was like,
yeah.
Good.
Spared no expense.
No stingy.
No. She heads off. She's like, well, where's blah? Where's my brother? Oh, he's at the cinema.
Cut to the cinema. We see the other guy get... So there's this whole scene with like in the cinema, there's this jerk guy behind them being a jerk.
Fucking stop talking in the cinema, you dickhead.
Yeah, and the kid turns around to say something to him and suddenly he's like, loop, he gets pulled up by the blob.
Yeah.
And now the whole ceiling of the cinema now is the blob. The blob is fucking huge now. The blob starts fucking going
Just
to town
picking
on
people off. And then so the whole
Everyone
cinema
panics.
erupts into fear, panic, and disorderly exiting of a building.
Meg runs in. Just... Because she's there now.
Yeah.
She's like, fucking Kevin, let's get the fuck out of
Well,
here.
the cinema's like right next to City Hall. It's fine because it's all on that one street.
Meanwhile, in the background, the blob's going to town and all the extras. They're just getting eaten and stuff. Oh, shit's going fucking everywhere.
It looks fantastic.
She falls down, Meg. She goes to help a girl up. Her face is melted to the floor.
I love it.
Yeah, just added shit. They didn't have to put that in there.
Nope.
Just more effects, more and more effects. And then they run out.
As they run out, the fucking kid gets his jacket caught in the door.
Kevin.
They're trying to, I don't know. They're trying to rip it out, but it's just that pesky jacket. He pulls and rips, and he finally gets through.
No, but because they close the big cinema door, and there's more of this like little fucking things. You can see the rivets start shaking, and they pop off.
Yeah.
You can see tiny bits of the blob coming out from around. All these little details. And like, man, this thing is unstoppable. It's so strong. It knows how screws work.
Well, you would too if you were an intergalactic entity.
They run into a dead end
in
a town.
A dead end.
They see one of their friends in a window. They're like, "What are you doing?" And now they run down. They go into the sewer because there's no other option.
No, instead of breaking through the window, they go into the sewer.
They go into a manhole. They put the thing back over, but the manhole has like 4 little holes in it, and this is wicked.
Yeah.
The blob just sends down little blobby tendrils.
Yep.
And I'm like, see, other movies just wouldn't have done that.
No.
They wouldn't have bothered. It grabs a bit of Meg's hair, and because the blob is so acidic, it kind of
just like burns right through
her hair. I'm like, yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah, it's so good. We cut back to Brian. He's spying on the scientists, and he's trying to sort of sneak his bike. He's trying to sneak out of the woods. He watches them remove the meteorite from the ground. And they're saying, he overhears them saying, it is a virus they put into space. And
we see that, the bottom half of the meteor is a metal dome with an American flag.
Yeah, NASA written on it.
So they fucked it. And this is a bit, I always forget in the film, that it's not from outer space.
No.
It's just a satellite. And it's sort of like, we never thought that the virus would mutate into a sentient being. I'm like, man, they really don't know what space is, do they?
No.
You can simulate space on the Earth. It's just a vacuum.
Yeah. Well, because they were keeping it up in space because it was cold. Yes. But it's now 1,000 times bigger than it was originally, and everyone's in trouble. So what are you going to do?
So we now know that the scientists are bad guys, and they're like, fuck it. Fuck the town. This is the best bioweapon we've ever had. We love it. The town is expendable. Fuck them up. We just want the weapon.
Yeah.
And there's like the head scientist, and there's the head army man as well.
He's feeling a bit like, this doesn't.
He's like, my good men are getting killed. He's like, this is fucking for the good of humanity.
Yep.
And now they see Brian, and like, there's that Brian guy. Get him. And he bails on his bike, and they chase him.
Yep.
No.
This is great. The shots are being fired. At some point, there's a helicopter chasing him as well. He's going, and you know what? The best way to get out? Over the fucking bridge.
He did, the bridge, the foreshadowed bridge jump that he failed before, but now he's got his bike fixed up. He's like, he fucking jumps the bridge All the scientists don't bother stopping. They just go off the cliff.
Yeah, they fall off this little ravine.
He jumps on the other side. He gives him the finger.
His mullet flying in the background, like in the wind.
The first thing I thought was like, there's a helicopter. As the helicopter sees him jump the bridge, and he's like, damn, that's cool. Guess we give up.
Oh, no, helicopters can't jump bridges.
It's true, they can't, yeah. So the helicopter gives up as well.
It's like, oh, damn, he got the best of us. So we cut back to Meg. She's reassuring the kids as they head off in search of a way out. But fucking hell, the blob is in the water.
It's in the sewer.
Everybody climb.
Okay, this is waist height, fucking sewer water.
Like sewer water.
So you don't know what's under you. There's a bit where the kid's like, ooh, a rat. And she goes like, and then they go, what rat? And we look and we see the rat has gone. Then we see another rat on a bit of driftwood.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoop, it gets grabbed down. They're like, there's a blob in the water.
It's like, get out of the water. So they start climbing up the pipes at another kind of dead end area.
To get out, because they're like, maybe the sewer was a bad idea. Anyhow, they get out, and then Eddie, the other kid, the Walkman kid, the bad kid, he gets grabbed by the blob, pulled back into the water, and then Meg's like, fuck. She tries to get him, and then he comes out again, and we get this very creep show, like...
Very Friday the 13th, Jason-esque.
Yeah, he's all melting. I'm like, yeah.
This looks great. He
kind of
looks like a little baby
I never thought
Tarman.
he'd die, hey. I didn't think they'd murder a kid.
Well, they did. He looked like the baby Tarman.
Baby Tarman. Tarman. Well, I think the guy who does the effects on this worked on Return of the Living Dead.
I think so, yeah.
What's his name?
I can't remember right now.
I knew it at the start of this thing because he did the roof man as well, stuck to the roof. There's one guy and some other things. I'll get it later.
This looks good. Like, I really like this scene. It was really good. She figures out that there's nothing that she can do to save him. She kind of just lets him go. She starts climbing back up.
Like, Kevin has now climbed up and he's got through some bars that only Kevin can fit. So she has to find a new way out. She starts climbing up this slimy incline. She's about to slide down. And, of course, out of nowhere, rocks up fucking badass Brian on his bike in the sewer.
In the sewers.
He grabs Meg, thonks her onto the bike, saves the day. He's back. He's back.
He does, but they're speeding down the sewer. He finds a dead
there was
end.
also some scientists down there.
Yeah, we get a couple of scientists down there kind of looking for the blob. And...
One of them gets eaten, the other one runs off.
Yes. Which, the other one is Bill Moseley.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Weird.
He's it's like an uncredited sort of first... it's not even a first role for him because he's like in fucking Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and a bunch of other shit. But yeah, it's Bill Moseley.
Yeah, weird. He's just an extra. Extra one.
Brian pulls some mad X game skills as he's like speeding past up the wall of the sewer, past the blob. It's great. And then they run into the other scientist that is down there.
But like he does that rad trick. He rides up the wall around the blob in this tunnel and then just falls off straight away. Know, cool. Yeah, they run into that a new one of the scientists that was in it previously who runs off, and he's got a cracked helmet. He's been through hell. Yep.
So they head off in like looking towards to find the other exit, and you know what? There's an exit just above. There is a manhole. All they got to do is climb the ladder, get to safety. All is well.
But then we see fucking head evil scientist man. He looks down there and he's like, "Cover it up." But then Army Man's there. He goes, "That's my good man. That's one of my men down there." And he's like, "Cover it up." So they just park a van over the manhole.
Yep.
That's how they deal with it.
That's done. But do you know what? How you get out of that? Conveniently.
Yeah, you give every scientist a rocket launcher. So the scientist that they're trapped down there with has a rocket launcher.
Yep.
Fucking badass Brian gets on the blower, gets on the walkie-talkie to the head scientist, and he goes like, "You're not listening to me? Maybe you'll listen to this." All of a sudden, the van blows up, and I'm like, that was cool. Brian blows his way out of the sewer.
It's fantastic. So they climb out. He picks up a gun.
A machine gun?
It's a machine gun. He points it at the main scientist. He's like, "It's all a lie."
The whole town's there. It's a standoff.
Yeah,
All the scientists get out their guns. the deputy's there with his gun. Brian's got his gun. The whole town's watching,
Yep.
and then Brian's like, "It's a lie. We're expendable. It's an alien. It's a virus. Blah blah blah." And the scientist's like, "Shut up, man.
It's like, I wasn't going to tell these people.
I wasn't going to tell them." And the evil scientist is like to the army man, "Shoot him.
Yep.
Shoot him."
Oh, he doesn't feel good about that. He's
He's
like,
like,
look,
"Well,
I've
I'm
been
not gonna
listening to
shoot
your
this."
scientist bullshit for far too fucking long.
And now the scientist, I don't know what happens.
Well, so the blob at this point has started blobbing its way out of the sewer. It grabs the scientist. It pulls him back into the sewer, which looks really good as well because
He's like half at the manhole. He's using the gun
Yeah.
to keep him from falling in.
so not only is it like this is the only thing stopping him from, but you see from the inside of his suit, he kind of gets vacuumed out.
And
at
the blob
such
fills
a
up. The
pace.
blob fills up his helmet.
Yeah.
And then he gets shaken around a bit.
Yeah.
And then he gets pulled down into the sewer so violently that it snaps the fucking gun.
Yep.
And I'm like, another little attention to detail they didn't have to do. Also, as he falls back, he shoots his gun and he shoots the deputy as well.
Yeah.
Poor deputy.
Oh, damn.
He's having a bad run, that dude. He
Yeah,
just
he
wanted
really
to
is.
get some authority, and all he gets is nothing.
Yeah, fuck authority.
So then the army man, main army man, he's like, because that scientist wanted the blob kept.
Yeah.
He's just like,
He's like,
fuck
no.
the blob.
This
Fuck it.
blob got to die.
Him and his mates just shoot a whole bunch of machine guns into the sewer.
Oh, yeah, they light it up, which,
They-
it's fine.
They get a fucking a bomb, what is that? Like
It's a charger.
a charge bomb.
Yeah.
They throw that down into the sewer.
Chew on that slime ball.
Is that what he says?
He does.
Everything's done. Everything's done. They've done it. They've blown up the blob.
It's fantastic, but...
Or have they?
Oh.
Suddenly the whole town starts to shake.
Everything's shaking.
How
and
big is this blob?
It's fucking big.
The Bob?
The Bob.
That's what it should have been called.
It should
About
have been.
Bob Hawke drinking beer. It bursts out the ground. Boojumba! It's fucking huge. It's so big. It's like a tower.
Yeah. It's
It-
massive.
It's
and
so. It's like this big building, and it's so big it just slowly falls down to the ground with a, and it falls onto the army man.
Yep.
But just before that happens, he pulls out the pins of the grenades on his army outfit. Doesn't do anything.
No,
We just see it.
It
Just
does
like
nothing.
we just see two little light poof poof in like the blob. He doesn't care.
Blob doesn't care. Blob's doing what he wants. Absolute chaos ensues. You know, they're there and they're trying to like flamethrower it. They're trying to blow it up. You know, at one point they accidentally knock the guy with the flamethrower. It sets the Reverend on fire. Shawnee Smith, like Meg comes running up with a
She's like-
fire extinguisher
Because
to
she's like,
put him
it's
out.
ice hurts and not fire.
Yep.
I guess were we supposed to think that fire helps it? Is that why it got massive?
I think, yeah.
They
like, I
blew
feel
it
that-
up and it became twice as big all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm under the impression that obviously eating people makes it bigger, but like heat probably
Because ice
makes
hurts
it
it, therefore
bigger.
fire helps it.
Yeah, fire.
I mean,
good.
ice and fire both hurt me, but that's fine. And Meg's got a fire extinguisher. She's got the only weapon, and it must be a CO2 one because I'm sure powder doesn't hurt it.
Yeah, I doubt it. No, I don't know.
And the whole town bails into town hall.
Yep.
So now they're in there and they're boarding it up. They're trying to stop the thing. Brian hero guts.
Oh.
Brian hero guts us, and he runs off. He goes and grabs the snowmaking truck.
Yes.
Which I'm like, what?
Which we
Was it
did
foreshadowed?
not mention. Yes, because when he went to the mechanic to ask to borrow his tools, the mechanic's like, man, I cannot help you with this. I've got this job, this job, this job, and I have to fix the snow machine before the winter sets in like a week.
Ah,
There's
right.
all of this talk.
But this is a snow machine that also fires snow?
Yeah, so it's one of those
It's
like
a fake
the
snow.
fake snow. So it's
Oh.
it's basically like just shooting out ice.
Yeah. Anyhow, he's got the best weapon in a truck that you can have against the thing. Okay, they did foreshadow. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
they did. It's smart writing.
And so he's driving. Suddenly, it's like he's now 10 k's away. He's driving through the town. He's driving around corners. He's driving. We cut back to the people in the town hall. They're boarding it up. They're trying to stop it. They're spraying it with spray. Every time the blob comes through a little crack, they spray it and stuff. We see the deputy's death here is wicked. Mm-hmm. What happens?
I don't remember.
Okay. The deputy's putting a bookshelf against the wall.
Oh, yes!
And the blob smashes through the middle of the bookshelf, goes around his waist and pulls him into the hole that it's made. And it breaks him backwards and pulls him through a very small hole.
Very similar to your favourite death in Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, when the bad one.
And also in 13 Ghosts at the beginning where they snap him and pull him into the thing.
Yeah, I think a fold back death is one of my favourite ones where they break a person back the wrong way.
Yes.
And they taco them.
Yeah. Oh, I could eat a taco right about now.
Anyhow,
Shit.
Brian fucking finally rocks up at Town Hall. Stops at the front. The whole blob is covering the front of Town Hall.
He crashes into the blob.
No, first he stops. He uses the snow cannon on the blob. The blob's like, I fucking hate this shit. The blob's like, I'm going to go stop that thing, whatever it is. It starts heading towards him, and then he just crashes straight into the blob.
It's like just driving a toy car. It just like, dunk,
Falls
fell
over.
down.
The tanker that had all the snow rolls off. And I'm like, oh, I see what's going to happen here, motherfucker.
Yeah, well.
Do you know how they kill the blob in the original? They lure it onto an ice skating ring.
Oh, I don't even remember. And I watched that not too long ago.
I think that's what happens. Maybe I'm wrong. Doesn't matter. Anyhow,
I watched that not too long ago. How do I not remember this?
maybe I'm making that up. I can't remember. I saw it in 1950s. And when it was made, 1953. Yeah. Sure. Anyhow, Meg gets out of the town hall somehow.
Well, she's Meg. She's doing what she wants.
She grabs a fucking machine gun. She starts firing she just knows how to use an M16. They're all M16s because M16s were
That's why they're called automatic firearms.
It's like they were like the machine gun of the 80s, the M16.
Yeah.
Yes. And the 70s was like the AK-47. I don't know. Fucking who cares? I'm not a gunman.
No, you're not.
Gunsmith. She starts luring the blob, or if I've written in my notes here, the bog, over to the snow tank.
Yep.
She's like, I got a fucking plan.
She got a plan.
She jumps up onto the top of it. She sets a timer explosive on it, and I'm like, not sure how she knew how to do that.
No, that's
She's suddenly
fine.
trained as a fucking cadet.
Yeah. Well, secretly, you know what she does on the weekends.
That's
Boot
true.
camps and whatnot. I like this as well because she goes to jump off, but her foot gets snagged and she falls.
Yeah, but she falls real hard.
But this looked real. It kind of looks like it was not meant to happen, but it happened.
Yeah,
it looked so real. I'm like, oh, jeez, is she alright?
Yeah, did that just happen? They just use it. Anyhow, she's stuck on here. Bright brain, as I've written in my notes. I've gotten drunk by this time. Brian grabs her, untangles her. They run just as the snow tank.
Whole town covered in ice.
The blob instantly pink diamond crystallized. Mm-hmm. And this is a big set effect here. This isn't just like they've done this. They've made a whole main street all crystallized, and it's now snowing. I'm not sure this is what would have happened. I'm sure just having fake snow explode doesn't change the fucking weather.
No.
Anyhow, it starts snowing. Everyone's like, yay! This blob is crystallized. And then we're out of the blue. We just get the garage dude is just pops out from the side and goes, we got to get this thing on ice before it unfreezes. And he's never in it again after that.
He just knows what's up.
And that's it. And that's the end. And everyone's like, fuck yeah. I'm like, what did they do with it?
They put it on ice.
They put it in the freezer and it's just still at the diner.
Yeah.
To this day.
It's just in the freezer.
Don't turn that freezer off. There's a blob in there.
The town's all set up with solar generators so it can never go out, run out of power. So we think that's the end of the film, but it's not.
No. We cut to summer.
Summer. It's boiling hot. It's the middle of a field. It's one of a big tent. It's
slightly out of town.
Yeah.
We see the Reverend, the half-burnt priest from before. He's got his own Carnivale style tent.
Yes.
We set up a makeshift church. He's got a bunch of people there. He's babbling.
He's having his rant.
Crazy religious talk. He's turned from a nice priest to
preacher to
a quite aggressive God,
Southern Baptist kind of.
Yeah, fucking the end is instead of help you, man.
The devil's gonna get you.
Anyhow, the end is going to come. He finishes his sermon. He goes out the back. A lady comes in and goes, Reverend, do you have a date of when this reckoning's going to happen? And he looks at he brings up he goes, soon, soon. And then for some weird reason, there is a very green screened fake hand holding the jar with the little blob in it moving. It's the only reason I can see they did that is because I think it's maybe it was a lot bigger, and that's a puppet, the blob inside of it.
Quite
'Cause
possibly.
it looks good because there's no CG in this film.
No.
And then, like, bang, cut to the hot pink credits.
Yes.
And some cock rock. And that's the end of the film. And I'm not sure what they did with the blob.
No.
Like, because, like...
But then there's a second one, isn't there?
No, I don't know.
There's like the Blob 2 or something.
The Blobbening?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you know they're remaking the Blob?
A remake?
Yeah. A remake of a remake of a remake.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure when it's coming out, who's in it. I got no information, but
They would have to do... if you can't have CG. CG's so fucking had it these days.
Yeah, no, I want practical. I want practical blobs.
People-
You did this in 1988 with $9 million. Imagine what you could do. And all these people want to get back into practical effects.
I know, because
Just
people love it now.
And the people that worked on this film are still alive and still into it. Get them back on it.
Yeah.
Imagine
Anyhow,
what they could do with more
my
money.
final thoughts. Great film.
Yeah.
Great film. I was watching it going, man, Jenna's going to love this. You know, as soon as the blob appears, constant practical effects. It never, like, every kill in this movie is another film's only big scene.
Yeah.
Every one of them. The phone booth, the dude on the ceiling, the sink, the sexy rape car man, the fucking, all of them. Like,
There was even one scene where the blob sort of just comes down and flattens a guy, lifts up its little blob body,
when it's
and
massive.
you just see him flattened on its blob. I don't even know
They just went, here's a blob. We got all these ideas, and then the guy who made the effects, they were like, man, we had all these ideas, and the dude was just like, do them all.
Yeah,
Let's keep going.
I love that.
Keep going. Because they had an effects team and they brought in other people. So I think each kind of kill had its own, like, effects team. And that's why there were a couple of effects. But then there's one guy hoarded them all together into one room and said, like, all our kills have to look consistent.
Yeah.
Like, it's done by, so, like, all the effects. So it can't just look all different and stuff. So, yeah, good fucking... Lots of good ideas, you know, and the little things like the pop rivets coming out, the sink expanding, the gun breaking, the guy getting pulled through the shelf. All those kind of little details are just like, it's what chef kisses this motherfucker up.
You're not wrong. Like, this film was so much fun. Like, just there is comedy to it, and it is very subtle comedy, or maybe it's just because I'm really weird and find this stuff amusing. The practical effects are insane. It looked so good. So good. Just even the bits, like the tearing of arms off, like you just see
because
the
it's not just
skin,
an arm
the
coming
muscle,
off.
Everything.
You can see that it's all like half melted and soft as well. It kind of goes into like a pulley kind of like taffy.
Yes.
Taffy? Toffee?
Is...
That's not the... What's taffy?
Yeah, it's taffy.
Is taffy soft toffee?
I don't know what taffy. Saltwater taffy. It's the long stringy shit.
Isn't taffy just what they make hard-boiled lollies out of? My last note here in my final thoughts is my mum liked it.
Oh, did she?
She watched it with me. Yeah, she'd seen it before. She goes, it started, and she goes, "Is this the Blob?" Like, I don't tell her what she's not there watching it with me. She's there like helping out,
doing stuff,
looking after my baby while I'm watching a film.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's fair. What did you give it? What rating?
I gave it an A.
Yeah,
it's an A. Everybody should watch it. It's also a beer and chicken wings movie.
Yes.
It's also fucking. I don't know if is it underrated. No, people love it. Don't they?
People love this film. Yep, I think a lot of people are very
excited. It's a classic worth a watch.
Yep.
It's a fucking ABC.
Oh.
ABC. Actually, an ABC is nearly the best you can give a film.
I think
awesome. So. Beer and chicken wings, classic worth a watch. You can't go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's a new film, then it's not a classic.
No, but anyway. So I have decided that because we are now getting closer to the end of the year, it is Christmas. I hate Christmas. I thought we'd watch a Christmas film.
Oh, shit dicks. Is it going to be the... Oh, what's that one you make me watch? The Krampus?
Krampus? It's not going to be Krampus. No, I have decided to go with the 1997 Jack Frost.
I haven't seen this.
It is basically a killer snowman.
I have gone against... I'm not much of a Christmas horror person. We did
neither.
Silent Night, Deadly Night last Christmas.
We did.
But it makes sense that we do one
Well, this is the one Christmas film we'll watch. One Christmas horror film.
And when the next episode comes out, it'll be pretty much close to the exact.
Yeah,
it'll be Christmas.
That's what I was kind of hoping for. So this is not to be confused with the 1998 Jack Frost family film with Michael Keaton.
Oh, okay.
Two very different films. I remember the VHS cover for this Jack Frost film at the video store. It was one of those lenticular covers where one way it's like happy snowman, other way it's angry, scary snowman.
I like lenticular covers.
Yes.
I also like those 3D holographic rainbow ones. Like it was on the Video Dead. Do you remember the Video Dead and had the TV with the hologram skull in it?
Yep.
One of the covers was that. Or the Australian cover was, I think. But yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, we're going to be watching Jack Frost. You can find it streaming on Tubi because of course you can.
That means it's free.
Yep. That's it. That's how good it is. So thank you so much, guys. You have been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all major podcasting services and also on the YouTube. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a review, and make sure you share with all your friends. You can interact with us on both Facebook and Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. It'll keep you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are 100% 3 years old by now and never owned or created by us.
True.
We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com.
And until next week, may all your dreams
be nightmares.